Hi guys! Have you ever wondered why a rainbow follows an inverse curve? Well, those kinds of curves are known as parabolas, and today we will learn how to graph them. So I'm going to take a random quadratic equation. So let's say, for instance, we take x squared minus x minus 6. To plot a quadratic equation, we need to know three important things. The first is the x-intercept, the second is the y-intercept, and the third is the vertex. The fourth is whether it is upward facing or downward facing parabola. So there's a very quick way of finding all of these, and today we'll be learning how to find each of these. So let's first start with the x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, the y will always be equal to 0. So to find x-intercept, we can just equate this equation to 0. 0 is equal to x squared minus x minus 6. Now we'll have to factor this equation, this part of the equation, and we will get the zeros or the roots. To factor the equation, first we have to find out which two numbers give the sum of -1, a product of -6. So can it be 1 and 6? Since it's a negative, we know one of the numbers has to be negative. If it's this and this thing is -5, the sum. And if it's -1 plus 6, then the sum is 5. So it can't be this. And what about 2 and 3? 2 and 3. So one of the numbers has to be negative. Let's take 2 to be the negative number. Then the sum will be 1. And if 3 is the negative number, then the sum will be -1, and that's exactly what it is over here. So it has to be 2 and -3. Quicker way to find which number is positive or negative, you find the sum and see if it's negative or positive. If there's a negative sign, then the greater number of the two has the negative sign. If it had been positive, then the greater number of the two, which is 3, would have the positive number. So this is just a quick tip for you to know intuitively which number is positive and which number is negative when you find the quadratic pair. So you can just write it out. 0 is equal to x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6. So I have just expanded it. I've just included the two numbers that we got. So 0 is equal to x minus 3 plus 2x minus 3, and then 0 is equal to x plus 2x minus 3. What we have to find out is what values of x equate this whole side of the equation to 0. Now, if this is -2, then the whole sum of this would be 0, and 0 into any other number is equal to 0. So we found out that one of the values of x could be -2. And again, over here, if I were to equate this to 0, 0 into anything else is equal to 0. So if this were 3, I would get 0. So one of the other values of x is 3. A quicker way to do this again is to equate each part of the equation, x minus 3, x plus 2. Equate each part of the equation to 0. So 0 is equal to x minus 3, 0 is equal to x plus 2. So x is equal to 3 and x is equal to -2. And that's what we got before. This is just again a faster way to do it, but you should know why we are equating each part to 0. So now we know the roots. Let's just write it down here with a green marker. Roots. We can also mark it on a little graph over here. So it is 3 and -2. So we found the x-intercept. The next thing to do would be to find the y-intercept, right? So to find the y-intercept, we know that x has to equal to 0. So y is equal to 0 squared minus 0 minus 6. So y is equal to 6. So we can again mark it on our little graph over here. -6, my bad. So it'll be here. Perfect. We could have done this in a quicker way because we know that x always has to equal to 0 when we want to find y. So you will immediately know that it's equal to -6. You don't have to bother put x's value into the formula each time because you know that since this is 0, you can just quickly do some mental calculations and know that the y-intercept will be -6 or whatever the term is over here. So let me just write down y-intercept. Cool, that's sorted. Now the vertex. So we know that a parabola looks like this or like this. So we will know this is the vertex, the minimum or the maximum point. To find the vertex, we need to use completing the square method, which is pretty awesome and a little complicated, but we will get it. I know for sure. It's a perfect square. So this would be a perfect square. To get it to this, we will have to first divide -x by 2 and multiply it over here. The coefficient of -x, which is -1, we divide by 2, which would be -1/2, and square it over here. Keeping the 96 on the right hand side. Since we've added -1/2 squared, we will have to subtract it here because we need to balance the equation. The value should remain the same, we're just adding and subtracting here and there. So it's half because I'm squaring it, so it's half. You gotta take the same number and put it here. So it's x minus half x squared minus 6 1/4. So the vertex is half 6 1/4 negative. Now I carried forward the negative over here, but I did not carry forward the negative for the vertex. Why did I do this? Because to find the value of x of the vertex, we have to equate this whole thing to 0. So x minus half squared is equal to 0. So x minus half is equal to 0. Therefore x will equal to half, which is why I didn't carry forward the negative sign. So now we know that. Let me just plot it here. Half, and it is 1/4. So here, so we found the vertex. We have to do one more calculation before we can draw the full graph. I need to know whether it is a smiley face or a sad face parabola. When it's positive, it is a smiley face, and when it's negative, it's a sad face. So you already intuitively know when you see this equation that it is going to be an upward facing parabola, which is this. So I know most of the elements of my equation. Now all I have to do is connect the points and make it upward facing. So crossing the x-intercept. Ooh, this is a bit shaky, my bad. Et voila. Isn't that awesome? This is our graph. This is y is equal to x squared minus 6 minus x. So let's verify our graph using the software Geogebra. It's a mathematical software that helps you graph equations. So I'm going to put in the equation that we had. Y is equal to x squared minus x minus 6. So isn't that awesome? We can see, let me just move this. We can see that the roots or the x-intercepts are -2 and 3, what we had plotted, and we can find the vertex, which is the lowest point, and the y-intercept is -6. So we just used technology to verify our graph, but what we did was we found our graph without even plotting each and every value. So in conclusion, we learned how to sketch a parabola using the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the vertex. I hope this video helped you, and please like and subscribe if you enjoy these kind of videos. Thank you!